All right, so here we go. Yes, the Stalker 2 dev team just clued us in on what we can expect for updates and improvements for the future of Stalker 2. And we're also going to talk about how some players are not going off the beaten path for this reason and how this could be addressed by the dev team. And it seems like some players are actually neglecting one of the most proficient weapon combos in the game. And if you're on Xbox, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to what I have to say in this video, because there's going to be some very cool things happening around Xbox that's also happening on PC, but you Xbox fans, you're also going to be included here. It's just going to take some time. And the dev team also responds about things they are not looking into, which is kind of a bummer, but we still have to talk about it. And some very interesting responses from the dev team about weapon stats and what's going on there. And I'm also going over your top comments as always, but this time with a little bit of a twist. Yeah, you guys had some things to say about the new Indiana Jones game. So we're going to start off by heading on over to the official Stalker 2 Discord, where of course the dev team has been busy replying. And you know what? One of the bigger problems that some players are facing is with inventory management, and they feel like it could definitely be improved. Check it out right here. It goes on to say this: why stash menu is so small, even that there is a space for it for being larger. Also, categories would be nice, so you would not need to scroll so much if you love to collect all uniques and not sell them. And the response is this: we'll try to make the inventory management more convenient. Yeah, and some players are so frustrated by this, they took it upon themselves to, guess what, create an entire mod showcasing what the inventory space should look like. Check it out right here. The large loot inventory mod is a must-have. If you don't want to mess with gameplay, that's fair, but this mod makes all loot stash vendor boxes full-sized and does nothing else. It's so much better. PSA for those that don't know about it. And I gotta say, that looks really, really sleek, and I hope the dev team is paying attention to that mod in particular for future updates. And you know what? Since we're talking about mods, I know that a lot of you guys that are on Xbox are probably like, damn, I'm missing out. Well, guess what? I have very good news for you guys today, because there were some responses about this out on the Discord. Check it out. Will you ever add mod support to consoles? Here's the answer. We have already mod support for Stalker Legends of the Zone on consoles. If you're asking about Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, so yes, we are working on it. More information will be coming later. And that is absolutely fantastic news for the longevity of this game on consoles. Of course, we already know that we're going to be seeing this on PC, but yeah, some of you guys might not even be aware of that. It just means that through modders, and we already know that these modders are exceptionally talented, that we will be seeing some very, very cool extensive mods, most likely in the future for this game. That's one of the reasons why I am super hyped to stay on this one. What will they create? And some players are left scratching their head wondering why in the world aren't more vendors selling the SP6 ammo? That was the question out here. It says, is this a design choice or a bug? The VS Ventar becomes unusable the moment you have to fight heavy armored enemies, and the response is this: in-game traders can be selling them with some chance. My question is, are you guys happy with this response, or do you think there needs to be more SP6 ammo in the game? And do you think that this needs to be adjusted? Sound off in the comments down below if you are happy with the sparsity with some of the ammo types, or do you think they need to kind of loosen that up? But I mean, this is kind of a survival game, so it wouldn't make sense that there would be like an abundance of ammo. So I kind of understand why they would do this, of course. But hey, give your opinion, sound off what you think. There's also some other weird issues happening as well with the game. Check it out here. Can you guys fix issue on Xbox when you're transferring loot from your private stash to your inventory? It always goes to the top, and you got to scroll down again. And the response is, I brought out this issue, gonna investigate it. So yeah, I believe this will eventually be fixed in one of those hotfixes. And while we're talking about hotfixes and patches, you're probably wondering, hey Robbie, when is the next patch? Well, we don't have an exact date, but let me tell you what, they are very busy working on it right now. We have kind of a new update here on the Steam DB branches. We can see privately they are testing out what seems to be a brand new update. They haven't clued us in exactly what this is going to be including, but you know what, the first hotfix, as they called it, was kind of like surprisingly, I wouldn't say big, but it fixed, you know, some issues that were big complaints. So I'm actually kind of excited about this next hotfix, because it seems like this team is absolutely devoted with squishing bugs and making this game very polished. We are slowly working our way to the bigger updates, the A-Life 2.0 overhaul, which I know a lot of us are looking forward to. And there's a portion of the community that's concerned about weapon balancing and what the weapon stats are telling them. Is it accurate or not? Well, here's the question out on Discord. It says this: will devs fix the stats tab on weapons? It looks like it's being bugged and shows wrong info. How can all weapons have the same 5 bar of fire rate and things like the 45 ACP and 9x19 are weaker than the 9x18. SMG and pistol have more penetration than early game. Assault rifle just don't make sense at all. Here's a response from Molt. We are investigating some ideas on how to make the info on weapon stats more understandable. So I gotta say, what is your go-to weapon right now in the game, and how are you feeling overall about weapon balancing? You know, they also have to be very, very careful here, because I think overall, most of you guys are enjoying the game right now, and if they start adjusting things too much, and perhaps making your favorite weapon too weak or something like that, that can be a real issue. So yeah, no nerfs, for the love of God. But if they were to make buffs, what weapon would you guys like to see buffed? Like, what weapon needs the most help right now? And they're also looking to fix some really annoying things that happen with certain artifacts. For example, are you all aware of the artifact weird water spawning under the map in the Wandering Lights location at nighttime? A lot of players have already reported this, hoping for a fix soon, and the answer is working on a fix. So yeah, that's important that the artifacts aren't actually falling through the world, because that is probably one of the most frustrating things in the world, is not being able to pick up an artifact that you really want. And we had discussed this next issue in one of my previous videos, but it's definitely still an ongoing discussion, and the response here is kind of a bummer. I really do hope they consider looking into it a bit more. Check it out. I just completed the game. I was wondering if I could continue playing, or do I have to reload before the point of no return mission? Or is there a way to continue playing even after the main mission is complete? Here's the response. You'll need to load before the point of no return. And I gotta say, you can see all those sad faces and downvotes on this one. It just goes to show you guys really want an option or something to be able to kind of like continue the game even after you beat the main story arc. Besides, there are 4 different endings, and you're gonna want to replay it. And once you get to replaying it, you know, you kind of probably want to have like multiple instances here of being able to continue onward in the game. And this is more of a minor issue, but it seems like it kind of bothers a lot of you guys. Check it out here. It says, have you all thought of the idea of adding different compiling shaders loading screens? Thanks. And the response is maybe in the future, obviously not a priority at the moment. The current bloodsucker that just like kind of stares at you on the screen can feel like it's out of nowhere, especially if you didn't die by a bloodsucker. It's just, sometimes just feels kind of weird. You die from a bullet, get a bloodsucker. You fall to your death, a bloodsucker. You catch on fire, burn alive, here's a bloodsucker. And some of you guys really want to be able to label your saves. Check it out. Will there be a way to give manual saves custom names in the future? That would be really useful. That would be nice. It is something we are discussing, but for sure not in the close future, was the response there from GSC Game World. Yeah, with everything going on with the game, I wouldn't see that being priority, but man, that sure would be nice. And I gotta say, the world they have built here is so genuine, so authentic, and this next response I love from GSC Game World, really sticking to their guns here. So check it out. It says, will signs be translated to English? I cannot read the current language written on the signs, and the transition tech isn't working. Get good. No, I'm just kidding. And the response here is, so if I understand correctly, you're asking about elements like the road signs. They're designed this way to enhance immersion and replicates the feel of the real life zone as accurately as possible. And I love that they're going to stick to this. They don't say that they're going to like change it at all, and they really should not. And when I start venturing out into the zone, I bring 2 things that are most important to me: my assault rifle and a CQC weapon, my trusty shotgun, because these are my best friends. But strangely, it seems like some people are neglecting the shotgun in particular. Check it out right here. Why are people so stupidly resistant to using shotguns on mutants? And it goes on to say you're supposed to use shotguns, but every other post goes along the lines of, I emptied 7 mags into it and it's still alive. And when you tell them they should be using shotguns, you get uppity answers. And it's quite simple. Shotguns for monsters, rifles for humans. The wind's howling. At least that's how I do it. I know that some players probably want to carry like an SMG or assault rifle with a sniper rifle, but for me personally, you just have to have the shotgun, especially if you're headed into the swamps, as you can see here. Yeah, the shotgun is going to be super useful. And you know, earlier in the video, I mentioned briefly that some players are not willing to go off the beaten path, and it seems like there's a reason for it. Check it out. It says, you know it, I know it, most stashes and loot are completely worthless. I climb an unclimbable tower, or I use an anomaly to hoist me up to an impossibly specific stash location. Ooh, look, there's a stash here. This one's gotta have something good in it. Nope, sausage and band-aids, maybe a broken PTM. Okay, but isn't this game kind of famous for always check a dead stalker for real loot? Nope again, bread and anti-rads. It's basically the celebration if you can find a gun with 50% durability, brave the dangers of anomalies to obtain the weakest artifact you've ever seen. So where's the fun in all this supposed loot hunting if the loot barely exists? Don't get me wrong, I like the game very much, but I rarely bother to go off the beaten path because every time I do, it leads to nothing. And someone says, yes, but you still want to need to check them anyway because you don't know if it is a dud or actually has something nice inside like a blueprint or attachment. And we have this response here: as a sausage connoisseur, there's no such things as a dud stash. Yeah, I touched base on this briefly. This is definitely not a looter shooter. It's not supposed to be, but I do get the concern, especially if like the stash is very well hidden, you finally discover it, or if it's on top of a building and you've worked your way to it. Yeah, that is a real bummer when it is underwhelming. And it's time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It can end up right here in a future video. And we'll eventually work our way to the comments from my most recent Stalker video, but I definitely wanted to highlight some comments from my Indiana Jones and the Great Circle video I recently did, because yes, I recently partnered up with Bethesda to check this one out. I mean, this game is getting 9 out of 10s, perfect scores, and I was playing it before release, and I was thinking to myself, man, this game seems to be like very good. But check out the video if you want to, if you're curious about it. I'll throw the link in the description below and as a pinned top comment for you guys. Let's scroll on down here and see what you guys have to say. Here we have, I haven't played a game that has made me feel this giddy since Red Dead Redemption 2. Love this game. It's definitely one of those games that's totally surprised me, and I think that it's going to be one of those by word of mouth type games that kind of like everyone talks about years down the road. We also have this looks interesting. I love history exploration, and it's going to be on Game Pass day 1, so I will definitely be giving it a try. It reminds me of OG Tomb Raider with the puzzles to open doors and such. Yeah, one part of the game that I mentioned in the video that I really enjoy is the tombs, just exploring them. Each tomb is extremely unique. It doesn't feel like there's any like copy and pasting going on there. They're all very handcrafted, which is really cool. I love this comment right here. We need way more story-driven, immersive games like this. I can't wait to jump in. And you guys know me, I am all about story-driven narrative experiences, especially if they are single player, because you get to really be immersed in it, and that is what they pulled off with this new Indiana Jones game big time. But I really hope you don't mind me sidestepping to Indiana Jones there just for a second. I just feel like it deserves way more eyeballs on it. There's just something very special about it. Anyway, here we go. Here is what you guys had to say about my most recent Stalker video. I use inverted mouse controls. Bro, stay right where you are. The FBI has been contacted and on their way. Yeah. And we have all I want is proper A life in the game. It simply isn't Stalker when the zone is dead and empty right up until the point where enemies magically spawn around you, giving the feel of a scripted and forced encounter. One of the best things about the previous games was how I can go up a hill, half a mile from the objective, and pull out my binoculars and see what was there waiting for me so I could plan my next move. In this game, it's just walk to the waypoint until enemies start shooting from nowhere, take out enemies, complete objective, rinse, and repeat. It's just not the same. 411 upvotes. So I got to ask you, are you willing to like put down the controller, step away from this game until the big A life overhaul? Let me know if that's what you guys are planning on doing, or are you kind of like powering through? I'm very curious. And we have this one right here. I miss sniping guys from like a mile away in Gamma and seeing enemies with binoculars way out there before entering combat. Again, yeah, this is a big issue. The one thing I wish they had was money on enemies. Even if it's a small amount, it's crazy how the many people are walking around in the zone and no one has money. It's crazy. I agree, man, it would be funny if you stumbled upon the guy that like just robbed the place and you hit the mother load. You're like, holy crap, this guy was up to no good. That'd actually also be funny. But anyway, there it is. The latest happenings around Stalker 2. Thank you guys so much for the love and support on the videos. And yes, I have you guys covered in the future, so look out for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.